I will. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, this is from me, ma'am. I just want to know the basic knowledge and understand what is OET, so that I'm trying abroad because I have two children. I have to settle the future.
Okay, fine. So
Yes.
I request every one of you, if you guys are not on duty, please turn on your camera so that I
Camera.
could see you people and talk. Okay, so
Nikita
that you will see
camera.
that effectiveness of this session and you will come to know about OET in a better aspect. Okay, all right. So guys, if you have any doubts in between, you can ask me and we will be starting soon. Okay, don't worry, we'll be
Yes.
starting very soon. We have a couple of students more to actually join the session that we are waiting for them. So we'll be starting really soon. All right. Yeah, Pawan, you're about to
Yes,
say
ma'am.
something.
No, ma'am, I'm very ready to hear your class.
Okay, thank you.
Uh,
Okay, fine. So Samina, I can see you raised your hand. What happened? Samina, Kausar, Ali, what happened? You just raised your hand. What happened? Okay, I think she hasn't connected to the audio and she may not be able to listen to me. Okay, is there any other people whom I missed? Okay, who's this 601912? Could you please tell me your name?
My name is Devi.
Your name is Devi. Okay,
Yes.
okay, Devi. Sorry. All right. So Devi, where are you from, Devi?
I'm from India. Now from Kuwait.
You are from
Joined
Kuwait.
from Kuwait. Yes,
All
yes.
right. Okay. So before let before we start, I would like to ask you, like, what are your expectations about OET?
the first and most expectation is that we should get a good band.
Okay, you should get a good band. Okay, that's a positive thing, right?
Yeah.
Good.
Yes.
Okay, another expectation? Any other expectations from anybody?
Need a very good placement if we are selected for UK or Ireland
Okay.
in a very good hospital with a good salary.
Okay. Yeah. It's also a good thing, right? Okay. So what do you think about the OET exam pattern?
OT pattern.
How will it be? Like, will it be easy or will it be like very difficult? What do you think?
My friends have been telling that OET is a little bit easier than IELTS because it is in medical terminologies. This is the thing I heard from my friends, but
Mhm.
I really don't know anything about it.
Okay.
So I thought I will participate in this demo session.
All right. So everybody who are actually joined for this session, thank you for joining. And I welcome all of you to this session. We are getting started now. And before we start, my name is Chuchu Benny. I am a Cambridge Salta qualified OET trainer, and I've been teaching OET and IELTS for the past 5 years. And my honor to welcome you guys to this session.
Good
And
evening,
today's
ma'am.
session, good evening. And
Thank
today's
you.
session is divided into two halves. Okay. In the first half, we will be dealing with the orientation to OET or occupational English test. Okay. And in the second half, we will be discussing about a small portion regarding the writing subtest. Okay. So let's get started. So now, what is OET? OET is Occupational English Test, which is popularly known as OET. And this test is a standardized test in order to test the English language competency of healthcare professionals. Okay, it tests the English language proficiency of healthcare professionals who have the ambition to go to an English speaking country and settle your life. Now let's look into the main thing. Why do you want to choose OET? Okay. The first reason is that OET is an English language examination which is exclusively designed for the healthcare professionals. And now let's look into the reasons. OET uses real healthcare scenarios. That means that when you attempt for OET, you guys will be tested, or else your English language proficiency will be tested on the basis of real or else your workplace scenarios. Okay. And there are two benefits if you do OET. Can you tell me what are they? Any idea?
It will help us to improve our language.
Yes.
And also it will help us to get a job in UK or Ireland.
Very good. It will help you to improve your language, and also it will help you to get placed in an English speaking country, that too in a very good pay scale. The other advantage is that when you develop your language and when you get yourself prepared for OET, you are actually improving or else developing your communication skills that you can use in your workplaces when you go to an English speaking country. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Tarun. Good evening. We have just started, okay? Now, let's see who all can take OET, or else can all the healthcare professionals take OET? The answer is no, okay? Not every healthcare professionals can take OET. Only 12 healthcare professions are eligible to take OET. And now let's check whether your profession is included among this 12. Okay. So the first 6 are dentistry, dietetics, medicine, nursing, occupational therapy, optometry, and there is one more half, that is pharmacy, physiotherapy, podiatry, radiography, speech pathology, veterinary science. Now, there's a question for you people. Do you see your profession included in this list?
Yes.
Yeah, we can see now.
Yes. So,
Yes.
congratulations. This is the only eligibility criteria to appear for OET.
Okay.
All right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, one biggest question, anyone who appears for OET, they will be having this question on their mind. Does OET assesses my medical knowledge? Okay. And many a time students actually ask us this question like, ma'am, I have completed my nursing years back. So if I sit for OET, I don't have much theory knowledge. So will I be able to crack this OET? So guys, don't worry. You guys have to understand that OET will not, or OET never ever assesses your medical knowledge. Okay. They will only assess your English language proficiency, nothing more. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Clear.
Yes. So OET is a test that analyzes your language proficiency, nothing more, nothing less. Now, let's see an overview to OET. So before I explain, I want you people to just pay attention to the table that you see on your screen. Please take a minute and look on to the sessions on the screen. Then we can actually explain it. All right. Okay, so I think you guys have got time to look into it. So I'll be asking you a few questions. So how many subtests are there for your OET?
4.
4 subtests. And they are listening,
Listening,
reading, writing, and speaking. So there are 4 subtests, isn't it? Now, let's look into the listening module first. So listening module is a test for 40 minutes. Okay. In fact, it's a test for 40 minutes. And in this test, you have 3 tasks or else you have 3 parts. Okay. And these 3 parts are part A, part B, and part C. All right. And in part A, you guys have to listen to 2 consultations. Now tell me, what do you understand by consultation? What do you mean by a consultation?
It's
Conversation between doctor and a patient.
Sorry, could you please repeat it?
Conversation between a patient and a doctor, or any physiotherapist or the patient.
Very good. So when you hear about this word consultation, the thought that rushes to your mind, it will be like, it will be a conversation between a patient and a doctor,
doctor. Yes.
isn't it? But here in OET, this consultation can happen between any one of the 12 healthcare professions who appear for OET and
Yes.
a patient. Got it?
Yes.
Yes. And you will listen to 2 consultations in your part A, and we have another part, that is part B. And in part B, you will be listening to 6 short monologues. Now, what are monologues? What do you mean by a monologue?
Speaking by one person.
Yes, a talk by one person. So you will be listening to either monologue or else dialogues. Okay. So likewise, you will be listening to 6 monologues or dialogues in your part B. And we have one more part in your listening subtest, that is your part C. So in part C, you have 2 talks or else 2 presentations, or else it can be 2 interviews. And all together, you have to complete a total of 42 questions in your listening subtest. So did you get an idea regarding listening subtest of OET?
Yes.
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 Yes, good. Now let's move to the second subtest, that is reading subtest. So reading subtest is for 1 hour or else simply 60 minutes. Okay. And you have here also 3 parts, part A, part B, and part C. Okay. And in part A, you guys have to. Hi, Jerome. What happened? You can't hear the. Can you hear me at least? Am I audible to everybody?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
Jerome, could you please connect your audio or try something else? It might be a technical issue from your side. I'm sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
So, okay. So, reading subtest is again for 60 minutes, and you have 3 parts in your reading. That is part A, part B, and part C. All right. In part A, you have to read 4 short texts. Okay. Sorry. So in reading part A, you have to read 4 short text. In reading part B, you have to read 6 short extracts. And the speciality of the 6 short extracts is that they will be taken from your workplace. Okay. The extracts that are given to you to read for your reading part B will be taken from your workplace. Then you have one more part, that is reading part C. Here you will be reading 2 comprehensive text. And here also altogether you have 42 questions to complete. So is this reading module clear?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now, the interesting fact. This listening subtest and reading subtest are same for all the 12 healthcare professions who appear for OET.
Okay.
Okay. Now, let's move on to the profession specific subtest of OET. They are writing and speaking. All right. So the other 2, listening and reading, I repeat, it is same for all the healthcare professions, but the profession specific subtests are just 2, and they are writing and speaking. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Now, let's see what is happening in your writing subtest. So writing subtest is for a duration of 45 minutes, but as you can see on the screen, it is divided. This duration is divided. Okay. So it is divided into two, like initial 5 minutes should be, or else have to be used for only reading. You're not just supposed to take your pencils and underline the main points on your question paper. Nothing is allowed. You can just read and understand your question paper. And your question paper is nothing but a case note.
Okay.
All right. And you have 40 minutes time to complete your writing subtest. Is that clear?
Okay. Yeah.
Yes. And the another interesting fact is that we only have one task to do in your writing subtest, which is a really good thing. Then, and now, what is that task? The task is to write a letter that is specific to your profession. That means that if you're from a nursing profession, you will be writing the letter as a nurse. And if you're from a medicine profession, you will be writing the letter as a doctor. If you're from a pharmacy profession, you will be writing the letter as a pharmacist. Likewise, the letter writing will be done as per your profession. Clear?
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. Now, the last subtest, which is your speaking subtest. Speaking subtest is for just 20 minutes, and you just have to do 2 tasks, or else you can even call it as role plays. And this role play will happen between a healthcare professional and a patient, or else a patient's carer. So you will be the healthcare professional throughout your role play, and you will be playing the role according to your profession. So is this clear for everybody? The overview of OET?
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Understood.
Yes. Okay. Now let's move forward. So now OET scoring and grading. OET is scored out of 500, and you can achieve this 500 upon 500. If you practice more and if you get expert training, you will be able to achieve this. And we do have a history of students who got 500 upon 500 for their OET subtest. Okay. So, and the minimum requirement for any OET aspirant to go along with their dream countries is to get a score of 350, which give them about B grade. Okay. So always, if you wanted to get 350, always aim at least a 50 score above your required score.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. So if you want 350, aim for 400 or 450. Don't just aim for 350, aim more always.
Yes.
Clear?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And I would say, please aim for 500.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, is there any doubts regarding the first part?
No.
Anybody? Any doubts? Now, from now on, we will be moving along with each and every subtest in a brief way. So, first, we'll be dealing with reading subtest. Okay. So, before we start, do you guys like to read medical journals?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So, everyone, please give me an answer, yes or no. Do you guys having interest to read medical journals?
Not really, ma'am.
Not really,
ma'am.
Okay, it's okay, but when you wanted to achieve more scores in your OET reading, you need to have interest in reading medical journals, and so that you will be able to understand the medical terminology, and also you will come to know the kind of questions, the kind of topics that are being given to you in reading. Okay, and we also provide you some external medical reading journals for you to read and improve your language once you join with us. All right. Then now let's see an overview of your reading subtest. So as we discussed before, reading test is for about, what's the duration of your reading subtest?
60 minutes.
Very good. 60 minutes. Okay, and what about the number of questions?
42.
Very
42
good, people.
questions.
Very good. So you guys are really attentive. So now, how many parts are there for your reading?
4
Three
parts.
parts.
Three
Three
parts.
parts.
Four.
Okay. So
Okay,
we have
Three
three
only.
parts.
Okay.
Three parts.
Yes, there's only three parts, like part A, part B, and part C. Just three parts, okay? Just three
yes.
parts and 42 questions, and these are to be completed in 1 hour. Is that clear?
Yes.
So with this on
Yes.
your mind, we'll move ahead. So now you can see again a table in front of you. So please go through the table, take a minute, and then I'll explain this to you. Okay? Okay, so now let's start discussing. So, as we discussed, reading has got three parts, and first of all, we will be looking into part A. So, this part A is the part that you guys have to complete in the first 15 minutes. Okay, and in this 15 minutes, you have to complete 20 questions, and these 20 questions are very, very easy to complete. Okay, so the kind of, or else the content what you get to read in your part A is 4 short text, and the specialty of this 4 short text is that they are related to a single topic. For example, let's see an example. If the text is about hypertension, you will be given 4 short extracts related to hypertension. Let's say text A will contain information regarding definition of hypertension and the risk factors. Then text B can contain the causes of hypertension. Text C can contain the diastolic and systolic values of blood pressure. And text D can contain management. So when you look into this clearly, you can understand all these 4 texts are related to one topic, that is hypertension. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That means that there will be 4 short texts, but all these short texts are related to one topic.
Topic. Yeah.
And you have 20 questions to complete, which are related to this 4 short text, and you have to complete it in within 15 minutes. And now let's see the question types for your reading part A. So the reading type has got, reading part A has got P question types. That is, the first one is matching question, the second one is short answer question, third one is sentence completion question. Okay. Now, what do you mean by matching question? Would you understand by matching question?
Maybe like match the following.
Yeah, I was expecting this. It might be like match the following. That's the kind of thought that comes to our mind. Okay, when you hear about this matching questions. But I'm sorry, it's not like that. For your understanding, you can actually make it like, or you can actually take it like locate the text. Okay, matching questions or else locate the text. That means that a statement will be given to you. You have to read the statement and understand from which text this particular information is being taken. Okay. If you think that this statement or this topic is being taken from text C, you need to write just the alphabet C as your answer.
Okay.
So that is meant by matching questions. Okay. And you need to understand that there will be no separate answer sheet for your reading subtest. You will be writing your answers onto the question booklet itself. Okay. In the question booklet, there will be space provided. So you will be writing your answers onto that particular space.
Okay.
Am I making it clear for everybody?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now you have another 2 sets of questions. The one is short answer question. So Can anyone in the group tell me what do you mean by a short answer question?
Like a 2-mark
Might be a
questions?
one word or two-word answer.
Very good. It might be, the answer may be in a word, or else it can be a short phrase.
Yes.
Okay. And you do not have to write these answers in the form of sentences. You can just write the word or else the short phrase in the space provided. Okay.
Yes.
Since you're
Okay.
not writing it in the form of sentences, it is known as short answer questions, and you will get a kind of short answer questions in your reading part A. Then we have got one more set of questions, that is sentence completion questions. So now, sentence completion questions means that you will be given sentences, and in between the sentences, you can see some gaps.
Like filling the blanks.
Exactly like you're fill in the blanks. Okay, you have to read the
Yes.
text, understand the type of information, just run to the text and identify the missing info, come back, fill it up. That's all. Okay, and when you fill it up, please pay attention to the spellings. That's all. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Now, one more thing that you have to understand about your part A, that is the technique that you have to use for your part A in order to get your answers in a good manner or else in an easily manner. There are some techniques, and the technique is that skimming and scanning. What do you mean by skimming? Have you heard of this word skimming before?
No.
No. Okay. So skimming is nothing but quick reading.
Okay. Quick
Okay.
reading. Okay.
I'll give you an example. The way you read the headlines of a newspaper.
Okay.
You won't take much time, isn't it? You will read it quickly, but you understand the main contents, isn't it?
Yes.
So
ma'am.
the same way, that technique is known as skimming technique. Is that clear?
No, ma'am. Can you please explain skimming once more? Because I
Skimming
couldn't hear them.
No problem. Skimming is known as quick reading. Okay. So
Quick
in your
reading.
daily life, you can relate it to the way, like the way you read the headlines of a newspaper. You'll be reading it quickly, but what happens? You will be grasping the main idea of it, isn't it? So likewise, you have to read the text quickly, but you have to understand the main idea. So that
Okay.
technique is known as skimming. Now we have one more technique, that is scanning. Now, what would be the scanning?
Scan the text with your eyes.
There's no other way. We have to scan with our eyes. We have to skim with our eyes. Anyway, that's a good point. I like it. Thank you.
Main contents we can scan. Main contents, main top means the questions itself, whether we have some clues, so we can put it in this paragraph or the sentence. We can correlate that one to scanning.
Okay, but dear, I just want the meaning of the scanning. I'm asking for that.
Screening.
Screening, scanning. What do you mean by these techniques? Okay. Leave it to me now. It's my job now. Okay. So scanning is like thorough reading. Okay. Okay. For example, when you get the scan report, okay, when you get to the scanning report, the doctor will be able to understand more, like he will get more idea about the problem, isn't it?
Yes.
So likewise, when you scan the text, you are reading it thoroughly. You are actually reading through the lines. So this reading through the lines is known as scanning. Even though you are reading thoroughly, or else even though you are reading through the lines, you are doing it in a faster manner. You are not reading too slowly because you have a time limit of 15 minutes, but you will be reading through the lines. Do you understand that?
Okay, ma'am. Yeah. Got
So
it.
are these two techniques clear for you?
Yes.
Yes. So now this is all about your part A. Do you have any doubts regarding part A?
No.
No. So now let's move to part B and let's see what is waiting for you people in part B. So before we start about part B and C together have to be completed in the rest 45 minutes. Okay. You have a time frame of 45 minutes to complete your part B and C. And now we'll talk about part B first. Part B, you have 6 short extracts to read. And if you remember, I told you that all these six extracts will be taken from your workplace. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Yes. And now let's see what are these extracts taken from your workplace. These can be a kind of emails that you receive. These can be a kind of notices. These can be some kind of manuals like health manuals. These can be some kind of memos or some guidelines. These are the kind of text that you get to read for your part B. And this part B helps you, or this part B checks your ability to understand the workplace communication. Okay. Then, in this part B, mainly your ability to identify the gist. Now, what do you mean by a gist? Is this term new for you? Gist? Have you heard of this word? Gist? Okay. So, gist means main idea. Okay?
The main idea. Okay.
The main idea. So, you have to read and you have to understand the main idea of the text that is given to you. Okay, then now let's move to part C. So part C, you have 16 multiple choice questions for you. That means that you have 2 texts and you have 8 questions each. Okay, and
Okay.
this will be longer text, but you need to understand that, or else the best advantage of OET is that they will mention the paragraph number in the question. Okay, the part C question starts like this. In the first paragraph, in the second paragraph, so it is easier for you to understand from which paragraph the question is being asked to you.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so you can just go directly to that particular test and search for the information. Then
Okay.
this part C analyzes your ability to understand the opinions and attitudes of the writers. And together you have 42 questions. And in order to get a B grade, you have to achieve either 30 or above correct answers. So is this reading module clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Now let's move to listening. So listening subtest again has 3 parts, part A, B, and C. And here also we have a total of 42 questions. And you need to complete this listening module in 40 minutes. Okay, this is just an introduction regarding listening. Okay, so am I audible to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, this is an overview regarding the listening subtest. You can just go through it, take a minute and go through it, then I'll explain it to you. All right, so let's look into part A first. So in part A, as we discussed earlier, you have 2 consultations, and this consultation can happen between any healthcare professional and a patient. And there will be 24 questions waiting for you in part A. And the type of questions are fill up the gaps or else not completion questions. And each recording will have about 12 gap filling questions. Okay. And in each recording or else each recording of your part A will last for about 4 to 5 minutes. Okay. And you have 30 seconds before each recording to read and understand the questions. And now let's see what ability ability is being tested in your part A. All right. Since you are actually listening about your patient, your ability to understand some specific information regarding the patient is tested. Okay. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, part B. Part B, you have 6 multiple choice questions. And for each of the 6 multiple choice questions, you will have different recordings. So, 6 multiple choice questions, 6 recordings. And each of the recording lasts for about 45 seconds. And you will get a 15 seconds time before each recording to read and understand the question and options. And in this recording, you will be listening to a healthcare professional talking either to themselves or to a patient. Okay. And in this part, your ability to understand the interaction in your workplace will be tested.
Okay.
Okay. Then
Yes,
let's
ma'am.
go to the last part of your listening, that is listening part C. And here again, you have 2 recordings. Each of this recording will last for about 4 to 5 minutes. And you have a total of 12 multiple choice questions. So that means that you have 6 multiple choice questions in each recording. Okay. And prior to each recording, you have 90 seconds pause. Okay. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. You will be listening to 2 presentations or interviews. And here, your ability to understand the ideas that are being discussed will be tested. So for listening also, you have 42 questions. And out of this 42, you need to get at least 30 or above in order to achieve your B grade.
Yes,
So this
ma'am.
is all about listening subtest. So now we have completed the subtests that are actually same for all the healthcare professions. From now, we will be moving ahead with the profession specific subtest of OET. The first one among that is the speaking subtest. Okay. So the speaking subtest is a face-to-face examination and your examiner is known as interlocutor. All right. So why your examiner is not called as an interlocutor? The reason is really simple, because this person is not going to give you any marks. Okay. He's there in order to help you throughout your role play. Okay. And you will be always playing the role according to your profession, and your interlocutor will play either the role of a patient or else patient's carer. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now the speaking test format. Your speaking exam is for 20 minutes and your speaking exam begins with a warm-up session. Okay. And this warm-up session can last for about 3 to 4 minutes. And this session will not be assessed. This warm-up session will not be assessed. You can use this session to understand the exam atmosphere. You can relax. You can understand the interlocutor's way of communication, their way of pronunciation, and you can just relax. You can come out of your exam fears and everything. Okay. So this is all about your warm-up session. And in this part, you can expect a few questions about yourself and your profession. What is your profession, or else why do you choose this profession? Do you have a role model in your profession? Likewise, you can expect some simple questions regarding yourself and your profession.
Okay.
And
Okay.
the next is your preparation time for the first role play. The biggest advantage of this preparation time is that you'll get 3 minutes, and the next advantage is that you can clarify your doubts regarding the role play with your examiner, which is a really good thing. So use this time effectively for getting more marks. Then you have to do this first role play for 5 minutes, and you will get another 3 minutes time for the second role play preparation time. Then here also you can clarify your doubts regarding the role play with your interlocutor. Then the next 5 minutes you have to do the second role play. So is this time format clear for everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now this is a sample role play card, and it has been taken from the nursing profession. So is there anybody from any other professions?
I'm an
Is
optometrist.
there any? You are an? Sorry.
I'm an optometrist. Am I
You're
audible?
an optometrist. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
You are an optometrist. Okay. Any other professions? Only optometrist and nurses. All right. So this has been taken from a nursing profession, but as you can see, it will be similar to this for every professions. There will be 3 headings. Okay, as you can see on the left hand side, there will be 3 headings. The first heading is the setting. This heading helps you to understand where exactly your role play happens. Okay, then you have another heading, that is your role or that is your profession. So this helps you to understand the person to whom are you talking to in your role play.
Okay.
Okay. Then you have one more heading, that is task. So this part helps you to understand what are the dialogues or what are the tasks that you are supposed to include in your role play. Okay, what are the dialogues, or how do you want to ask questions, how you should respond to your patient. So all these things, your content of your role play will be given in the task heading. So proper understanding of all 3 headings are really important. Is this clear? So like this, you will have 2 role play cards and you have to do the role play for 5 minutes and you will get 3-minute time to prepare on this role play card. Okay. And if you have any doubts regarding this role play card, you can ask that to your interlocutor during the preparation time. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Yes. Now, the last subtest, that is your writing subtest. So let's have an introduction about your writing subtest. Writing subtest is for about 45 minutes and this timing is divided into 2. That is, the first 5 minutes are for you to read and understand your question paper. That is nothing but your case note. Then you will get another 40 minutes to write, and your task for your writing subtest is to write a letter, and you will be writing the letter according to your profession. Okay, and there is a word count for your letter writing. That is, you have to write a letter between 180 to 200 words. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Now, this is an example of a case note that you get for your writing subtest. Again, this is taken from nursing profession, but this is same this is like this for every professions. Okay, you will be getting a case note like this, and it will be, when you keenly look into it, you can understand that this thing or your case note will be given, all the information of your case note will be given in the form of points. But when you write a letter, you are not supposed to write in the form of points. You should develop these points into meaningful sentences, and you have to frame a letter in 180 to 200 words. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yes. Now, that's all about the OET subtest. Now, we will be discussing about the features of OET training with Langtrees International Academy. We do provide coaching for about 40 hours, and this coaching will be intensive. Okay, and we have batch and one-on-one training. And we admit only limited students in our batches to ensure proper individual attention to each and everyone who attend the batches. And we do understand that most of you are working and you guys will be busy. So in order to meet your working schedule, we work in a dual shift system. Okay, like we work in the morning as well as in the evening. So if you guys are having a morning shift, you can attend the evening batch. And if you guys are having an evening shift or night shift, you can attend the morning batch. So the chance of missing your classes will be really less. Okay, and there are some times like due to some unavoidable times you might have missed a class. Don't worry, you can ask for a recording of that particular day. We will be sharing the recordings of the same class upon request. Okay, this dual shift training system doesn't mean that the morning shift is a live class and the evening one will be a recorded one. Both the batches are live and interactive sessions. Okay,
Okay.
the same trainer will be taking the class both in the morning and in the evening. All right, if you miss the class or if you need more clarification or if you think that you need to refer the portion, at that time we'll be providing you the recordings of the sessions also. All right,
Okay, ma'am.
then all our trainers are highly qualified and trained by OET. So you can expect the quality training here. Then we have
Okay.
developed an exclusively result oriented curriculum. And I'll give you a brief idea about the curriculum now. Our training starts with the writing module. Okay. Writing module in the sense we'll be starting with the grammar portions, the grammar that is exclusive for the OET. Okay, for
Okay.
example,
Okay.
if I teach you simple present tense, the examples that we discuss in the class will help you or will be like in a way you can directly implement that to your OET letter or else to your OET speaking. It
Okay,
may not
ma'am.
be a general English examples. Okay, it is related to your letter writing or else to your speaking. So then you have exclusive initial 3 days of grammar classes, and also we will be providing you some grammar exercises to practice grammar. Okay, and after that we
Okay,
will
ma'am.
be moving ahead with the writing module, followed by the listening subtest, then reading subtest, then the speaking subtest. And you will be completing your class with a mock examination and the last day for you people to have a good talk with your trainer on ways you can improve, and also you can clarify your doubts if you have any in the last session. Is that clear about the curriculum?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Clear.
ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, we only use authentic practice materials during our class times and we do not promote any other materials for practice. We will be providing you additional materials through the Telegram groups. Okay. And you will be given an unlimited 1 year access to any batch. So if you join now and if you get an exam date on October or else like December, you may think that, oh, if I join now, I may not be continue till my examination. So it's better to join by November or better to join by October. People don't hesitate. It always make you more expert if you have a continuous practice. Okay. So once you join with us, you have the access for a year. So if you join in this July, you have access till next July to any batches. So that means that if you think that or till the time you become confident, you can continue your practice.
Okay.
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 That too with the expert advice from a trainer.
Okay, ma'am.
All right.
Okay.
So that makes the difference and you will be feeling confident to appear for your examinations. Now, we also have WhatsApp and Telegram groups for effective practice. And in all these groups, your trainer will be present. Okay. Your trainer will be present so that at any time, if you have any doubts or if you think that if you need anything for your practice, you can ask it. Your trainer will be providing you answers for your queries then and there. Okay. Now,
Okay, ma'am.
once you become confident and if you think that you wanted to book your examination, you can reach out to us. We will be providing you assistance in booking exam date and selecting the exam centers nearby. And one important news, our next batch starts on July 13. Okay. So
Okay, thank you.
now, so we at Langtrees International Academy, we promises you an individual, interactive OET learning, even though you're attending a batch session. So, and also once you attend your OET and once you pass your OET, we do provide you assistance in placing you in one of the NHS Trust hospitals if you're planning to move to UK, and NMBI registered hospitals in Ireland if you have an ambition to move to Ireland. That too completely free of cost. All right. So if you have an ambition to move on to these countries, you can very well come out to us. We'll be providing you placements. So this marks the end of our first session. So is there any doubts regarding the first half?
No, ma'am.
All clear.
You are very clear.
Okay.
No, ma'am, really appreciated your effort. Thank you. Thank you. So nice of you.
We do have one more session left. We do have a small session regarding OET writing. I'll be giving you a really interesting section regarding writing. So please, don't go. We have one more session waiting for you. So,
excuse me, I have one doubt.
Yes, please.
Yeah, every day we are having classes or alternative days.
We do have class on alternate days. That means that we do have classes on 3 days a week.
Okay.
So you can attend either in the morning or else in the evening as per your convenience. If you have time to attend both the sessions, you guys are welcome. Okay. Okay, now let's get started with the writing subtest. So as we discussed, writing is profession specific and there will be one task set for each profession demanding your profession's needs. So you guys know now, isn't it? For nurses, they'll be writing the letter as a nurse. If you are a dentist, you will be writing the letter as a dentist. Yes. Now, what do you think about the types of letters in OET?
Official letters?
All the letters are official letters. Very good.
Information.
Very good. So you have a referral letter, you have a discharge letter, you have a transfer letter, you have information letter and advice letter. So for people who are nurses, doctors, then what to say, and this kind of pharmacist and all, there'll be more writing about referral, discharge and transfer letter. For all other professions, the more or the mostly they will be asking to write information and advice letter.
Yes.
Now, where can you see this, or can you see this type of letter mentioned somewhere in your question paper? Or do you want to identify it by yourself?
No need.
You don't have to. Yes, very good. You don't have to identify the type of letter by yourself. This will be mentioned on your question paper and I'll show you how. Okay, the writing task. You see a heading on your case note called writing task. So, one second, people. So, using the information, you have to write a discharge letter to the nurse manager. So, it is given, isn't it? The type of letter is mentioned on your question paper. You don't have to identify it. Then, what do you mean by referral letter, discharge letter, and transfer letter? Discharge letter, or else, sorry, first we'll start with the referral letter. So you write a referral letter when you refer your patient from your facility to some other facility, or else to especially to a particular professional. For example, if a nurse refers a patient to another professional, so it can be a nurse, it can be a social worker, it can be some doctors, such kind of letters are known as referral letter. So in this letter, you will be giving more importance to the patient's current problem. Okay? The reason why are you referring the patient will be more emphasized in these kind of letters. Then comes the discharge letter. This is really easy. You guys know that. You write this letter at the time of discharging. Okay, and mainly the discharge plan gets more emphasized in discharge letters. So this letter can be written by a doctor to a doctor, or else to a nurse, by a nurse to a patient's carer, or else to a patient's doctor, or someone in charge of the facility where the patient is getting discharged. And one more letter is there, that is transfer letter. So you write this letter to another facility in order to give continued care for your patient. Since we have got an optometrist in the section, you guys will be more writing information letter and advice letter. So you will be advising or you will be giving information regarding some of the care or some of the cautions that the patient have to take regarding some problems. Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Now there are 6 criteria for your writing that you have to know before you start writing. So the first criteria is the purpose. Your letter should have a purpose. Okay. Since you're writing the letter to a healthcare professional, always there should be a purpose, and you need to write the purpose where this is immediately visible to your reader. Okay. So write your purpose in a place where this is immediately seen by your reader. And the second criteria is the content. Whatever point that you include in your letter, it should be directly or else it should be accurate for your reader. Simply, if you're writing a letter to a physiotherapist, the information that you include in your letter should be accurate for a physiotherapist.
Okay.
Okay. Then next one, the conciseness and clarity. You are not supposed to elaborate or explain any of the points in your letter. You should write the information in a concise manner, that too with clarity, which means that your sentences should not generate any kind of doubt to the reader. Okay? It should be properly written with clarity. Then comes the genre and style. This is all about the register and your professional tone of your letter. And you also should know where are you supposed to write abbreviations. Okay. So these kind of things, abbreviations should be, when you write a letter to the physiotherapist, you should understand the abbreviations. If you write some abbreviations in your letter, will the physiotherapist be able to understand it or not? Okay. If you're writing the letter to a doctor, it is fine. Always it is fine. But make sure that if you're writing to other professions, you need to think twice. Then comes letter organization and layout. So this should be formal and professional. Okay. And when you lay out your letter, it should be laid out in a manner which is accurate for your reader. The last but not the least, the language criteria. So in this, everything, your accuracy of the grammar, vocabulary, spelling, punctuation, everything will be assessed. Okay. And because of all these criteria, we will be dealing with the grammar portions first, then go to the writing module. So is this is this 6 assessment criteria clear to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Now let's have a small activity, because I think you guys are getting bored now. So we have a small activity. So I have, as you can see on the screen, there is 2 columns. Like one you can see an audience part, the other one is your approach. So you need to just choose which one matches with the other one. So first one we'll do together. Okay, let's do the first one together. Then I'll leave the rest 3 for you people. Is that okay? So the first one, admitting doctor in an emergency department. So what is the kind of language that you can use in your letter? What will be your approach when you write a letter to an admitting doctor in an emergency department?
Referral letter, emergency, urgent.
No, dear, choose it from your right hand side. Choose it from the heading, like your approach.
C.
A,
B. C. Medical professional can use medical terminology.
Correct. Good. Now,
medical professional can use medical terminology. Focus on dietary instructions and allergies.
D. Correct.
D.
Correct. Third one, general practitioner.
Focus on treatment plan, not detailed medical history.
Very good. Now, the last one.
Community home social worker, lay person. Medical terms.
What do you mean by a lay person?
Because it's a community home social worker.
Lay person means common person.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Common man. So they may not be understanding about the medical terminology. Okay. So you need to limit it. So this is the kind of approach you have to follow according to your reader. Okay, you need to include languages, or you need to include the vocabulary as per the understanding of your reader. Is this clear now?
Yes.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Yes.
And understood why we did this activity?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I
It
think
will
one of
easily
the
understand.
things.
So that if so, once you do this, you will be able to understand which kind of language should I use when I write letters to these people. Okay.
Okay.
Now I'll teach you how to write an introduction paragraph for your letter. Okay, just an introduction for today. The rest we will be discussing once you join the class. So your introduction should contain 2 to 3 sentences, and always, people listen, always your introduction should begin with a purpose. Okay, that doesn't mean that your purpose should be written in the first sentence. It should be included in the introductory paragraph. That's all. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Then the other portions, what you have to include for your introduction is the diagnosis, surgical procedure. If that's a surgical procedure, include the surgical procedure. Then sometimes there won't be any diagnosis. Sometimes it can be a suspected case. Okay, you're referring the patient in order to confirm the diagnosis. So if that is the case, then you have to include a reason for admission. Okay, this is the same for medicine and nursing profession. For optometrists, you guys have to write the purpose. Then all these things are same for you also. Okay, for diagnosis, you will be including the problem, and if that is a surgical case, you will be including the surgery name, and if there is no diagnosis, you will be including the reason for visit. All right. Okay. But the rest is same for everybody. I mean, the rest is same for doctors and nurses.
Okay, ma'am.
Is this clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, this is the case note for you people. I actually invite this optometrist also to please go through this thing and please identify the information that you require in order to write an introductory paragraph. Okay, just choose the information that you want to write in your introduction. That's all. Just select from this page first, then I'll show you the next page. Do you want the name of your patient for introduction? What do you think?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Okay. What else
Yes,
do you
needed.
need? Okay. You need the name of your patient. Then what else you want?
Age also required.
Sorry. You require the age. Okay.
Age.
Okay. If you want, you can choose the age. If you don't want, it's fine.
Age is required, ma'am.
Age is required. If yes, okay, I admit age is required. I agree with you. But that doesn't mean that it is a mandatory thing. If you want to include age in your introduction, you can include, and if you don't want, just omit it. That's all. You can include the age in some other place. Okay, before introduction that we'll be teaching. Any other part from this page you need for writing the introduction?
History of asthma.
History of asthma.
Lives at okay.
Current diagnosis.
Only name. Only name. Okay. From here.
Diagnosis. And this diagnosis need to mention.
Pneumonia, yeah, pneumonia, bronchitis.
Okay. Now, you also have to know the purpose which is written in your writing task, that is follow-up care.
Okay.
Okay. Now tell me what kind of a letter it is. The type of letter.
Referral back.
referral back, but this is not a referral back. Discharge letter. Very good. This is discharge letter.
Referral letter.
It is not a referral letter, dear. It is it is given. It is given as a discharge letter. See, write a discharge letter to the nurse manager. So
it's a discharge letter. Yes.
Discharge letter.
Yes.
Understood now?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Yes. So now I'll show you an example of how you can write an introduction paragraph for the for the previously discussed case note. I'll show you in fact 5 different types today. Okay. The first one, starting with the name of your patient. Mr. Brown is being discharged back into your care today for follow-up care. We have written discharged back because this patient is living with the nurse manager in that particular facility for 10 years. And it was, and it was mentioned in the first page that I showed you. Then the next one. So can you see the purpose here in this sentence?
Follow-up care.
Follow-up care.
Follow-up care. So the purpose is written, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. Then you can see the second sentence of your introduction paragraph. He was under the treatment for pneumonia and bronchitis, which is your diagnosis. So we have included everything we have discussed for the introductory paragraph. That is first one, 2 to 3 sentences. 2 sentences are here. So it is done. Second one, you have to include the purpose. We have included that. Then you also have to mention about this letter type. That also you have included. Then you have included the diagnosis. That is pneumonia and bronchitis. So do you think that this is a good introduction or not?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. So this is one way. Now, shall I show you one more way?
Yes. Yes.
You can read this, then I'll explain it to you.
I'm writing to update follow-up being discharged.
First one is simple and informative.
First one is simple and straight to the point. Second one is getting somewhat complicated, isn't it?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes. So you can write in any way which is comfortable for you.
Okay.
Okay. Which do you think, like, if you think that you're confident and comfortable with the first way of writing, please follow that. If you think that you can write some more complex and compound sentences, go for it. But make sure that whichever is comfortable for you and which kind of sentence you can write it in a proper and accurate manner, please go with that. Okay. Now, are these 2 sentences clear, or are these 2 introductory paragraphs clear?
Yes.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Now I'll show you some more examples.
Okay.
What about this introductory paragraph?
Somewhat related to the first one.
It is somewhat related to the first kind of sentence, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Yes, that's it. But it is the sentence is written in a simple. There's some difference in that. That's all. Okay, but whichever way you write, the content is still the same, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes. This is another way.
Now, a member of your nursing home requests follow-up care as he is scheduled to be discharged. It's in a treatment pneumonia, right? Yes.
Okay.
I write this letter to this gentleman. Yeah.
So when you go through the paragraphs, you might have seen that we have used the patient's second name, isn't it? So throughout your OET letter, whatever be the profession, you have to use the second name of your patient. Okay. In the content of your letter, you have to use the patient's second name. So if this is regarding, or if this is a letter for the profession of optometry, you guys will be writing, I write this letter to inform you regarding Mr. Brown, a member of your facility, for the purpose. Okay, you'll be writing it like that, but you'll be writing as in the form of an information letter rather than a discharge letter. Got it?
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
For optometrists, you will be writing always an information or else an advice letter. So it can be regarding some eye infections. A patient might come to you regarding, like, he might be admitted for an eye infection, or else he might be coming to visit you to get some idea regarding this eye infection. So you might be informing some of the ways in which he can actually come out of this eye infection, and you will be including the points in your letter. Okay, and you'll be writing it in the form of information, like giving information.
Okay.
But even then, your introduction still remains the same. The points will be the same. Like, you'll be writing the purpose on it. You'll be writing the diagnosis. That is nothing but the problem of the patient when he visited. So likewise, you'll be writing that. Okay. So again, 2 to 3 sentences, purpose and the problem of your patient. That is the same. And rest, the different type of sentences, you can take a structure out of this and you can frame accordingly based on the points. And I'll also give you some other templates or some other kind of sentence construction for that. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So this is all regarding today's writing session. I hope you guys got a proper understanding about how to introduce your letter to the readers, because introduction is like the way you write an introduction should be like giving an overall idea about the patient to your reader. Okay. And it should be always straight to the point. Yeah.
Okay.
So by this, I will be winding up today's session. And is there any doubts to anybody?
No, ma'am. It was little clear now. I got a clear idea about OET.
Okay. So this is all about OET. And I hope to see you people on the class. And the class starts on 13 July. So you can get back to the counselors, and you can see the number on the screen. So you can get back to the counselors at the concerned places. Thank you so much for your participation.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
Thanks, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, people. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Record